If you like what you're seeing and hearing, please consider subscribing to the podcast. You can go to either Apple iTunes, the Google Play Store, Spotify, or Amazon Music in the podcast section. It'll hit Monday morning or Sunday afternoon, depending on when it posts. And the video will hit on YouTube and Spotify Monday. Spotify will hit Monday evening, and YouTube it'll hit Monday morning, 7 a.m., just like it does for the audio services. So please go to those places and consider subscribing or listening to the show. You can also write to me at gwgpodfellows@gmail.com if you want to write me a letter. Let me know what you think of the show, things like that. Or you can also find me on Twitter at JustLittleJoe. So go to those places and please consider liking and subscribing. Thanks. And with that, we'll get on to the episode. Hello, my name is Joseph Carlson, and this is episode 237 of Gaming with Grief. And I'm simply just calling this episode My Birthday 2023 because this is coming out on my birthday, 2023. And instead of the normal episode where I talk about maybe a game I was playing, I am still playing those for review. But I want to talk about the stuff that I'm excited about, stuff that maybe not be adjacent grief related, but stuff that I just find interesting and I'm having a good time with and it's uplifting. Stuff like that. So that's what I'm going to talk about this episode. It's going to be like an overview. Plus, I have visual aids to help out with all that stuff. So make sure to watch the YouTube version. But I will, be describing, obviously, the items that I'm showing off, things that I like and love. First thing is, let's just start out and say that I made it to 44 years old. And I never thought I would make it to 44 years old. Well, obviously, it's coming out. I'm recording this a day before my birthday. Hopefully, if everything goes well, I'll be able to celebrate my birthday in a nice, calm, amazing manner. When you get older, a lot of it just comes down to dinners and things you get, which is great. My wife and I have already gone to a couple museums downtown where we live. I got pizza at my favorite brewery, got a beer. That's how we're kicking off the birthday weekend. Yesterday, I forget what we did. We did really cool stuff. Tomorrow, we're going to go get pastries from our favorite Placey place and probably do something else. I don't know. We saw a movie. Friday or Saturday we saw a movie. We saw Saltburn, which is very good. That was a very messed up movie, but I really enjoyed it. It was well acted, directed. There was some amazing cinematography. The performances were, that last shot in the movie is pretty amazing. That also. So go check out Saltburn if you want to see a darker movie. I heard somebody describe it as a comedy. I don't know if it's a comedy. There's funny moments in it, but it is very a dark drama kind of. So shout out to Saltburn. So I guess there's 4 things that I'm going to really show you today. The number one thing I want to start out with is I've talked about it before in the podcast, but I really want to shine not even a new light on it because I guess I talk about it so much. Everybody probably that listens to the station or channel or podcast or however you listen to it know that I'm a big nerd. And I've been playing a lot of D&D lately, and I play in a game on Friday nights. We got new players. It was very exciting, a little chaotic, but it was great. Everybody had a great attitude. We were all really excited to be there. Shenanigans ensued. It's great when you find a group of everybody that's just in a good attitude and, everybody wants to play and we're excited and the DM's really good and everybody's just having a good time. So that's exciting. And then in my home group, we're recording episodes and stuff like that. And we're doing the Dragonlance Saga campaign module book. I'm modifying it, but we got a new player in our group. He's brand new to the game. He's very excited to play. He's somebody that I play with or work with. And he is, the more and more I talk to him, he gets more and more excited about the game, which in turn makes me excited to play D&D. And that's something, we all have hobbies and things, and maybe we get in a rut. I think last episode I kind of complained a little bit too much, or maybe just ranted about this podcast. Sometimes you just feel like you're in a rut, and I think when you get people in that are excited about what you do and what they want to do, I think that kind of breeds more excitement into the, into the hobby that you're doing. Another thing, and this is someone I just want to shout out, and they're very well known on YouTube, is Matt Colville. He's a professional DM. He's developed several video games. He's part of MCDM Publishing. I mean, he's probably the creator of it. They have several supplemental books out for 5e. But I really started watching his videos, which I know, shocker, he's been around for years. Probably, in YouTube anyway. He's been developing games for years. But what I find, I was telling my wife that I like so much about his content is he is positive. A lot of times on YouTube when I look at creators, A lot of people on YouTube are looking for the clicks, and they're very negative, and it's very like negative clickbait. And I know in our brains we all kind of want to pile on things that are negative, and that's hard sometimes, and it wears on you. But I want to find positive people. Even in this podcast, when I talk about games that deal with like dark or depressing subjects, you want to find kind of like the positive thing to take away from it, or the best thing you can take away from it, or lessons. And I think I'm looking for that in YouTube developers and just people I look online in general. And Matt Colville, all the videos I've seen of his, he's excited and he's positive, which is something you can't say for a lot of people. In fact, the last video I just watched, he talked about basically the edition warriors of D&D, people who like past editions or previous editions, and they like, 5th edition, they like 3rd edition, whatever. That it's kind of silly, as he talked about how, you like what you like, and there's goods and bads to everything, and nothing can be 100%. And I know people like that in my life that play D&D, where they tell you, man, I don't really get this. This is dumb. This critical role, I don't understand how they're doing things. I don't get it. Or I played Advanced Dungeons and Dragons 2nd Edition, which came out in '89. I went down, that's where I started. I went on a trip down memory lane and went to my local game store. I decided to play it. Like, yeah, it's a touch of nostalgia. The book I had, the Player's Handbook, completely fell apart because I read so much back in the day. So I bought another, it was about $70 online on eBay. Got a copy of it, paid for a copy of it, played the game for weeks. Kind of realized I had changed as a person, obviously. That it wasn't the game for me. It was kind of a slog, but it was good to go back and experience that. And the table we had was like some good people. So everybody was kind of joking around it. But I remember the DM being very particular. He said, this is basically telling me he's a good guy, good DM, but for him, he said, this is where the game peaked for me. This is the ultimate version of D&D, was Advanced 2nd Edition that came out in 1989. I'm not judging him. But for me, the way I looked at it, I was like, this is not what I want to do. I like 5th Edition. I like that it seems to bring in more people. It balances role-playing. It seems like when I was playing back in the day, and even now, the Advanced 2nd Edition D&D that came out in 1989, that it was a lot about, it's very rules crunchy. So you got to do this, to do that, to do this, which is fine. But at the end of the day, you want to play, you want to role play, you want to have the interaction with people at the table. Yeah, it wasn't for me. But he's a good guy, he's a good DM. It's just, for him, that's why I think I like Matt Colville, because he was just talking about, hey, everything is valid, everything is good. Like if you like this, you like it. If you don't, you don't. That's fine. You don't have to hate it or, burn that, whatever. You don't have to burn everything down around it. There's a couple of people I don't want to shout out that are negative. Some people that I'm watching online that I always click on their videos, and it's like, oh, this is why everything's failing. And I was talking to my wife about this a while ago. If the thing that you like to do, the thing that brings you so much joy, D&D in this case, because that's what I'm talking about in this segment, if it brings you so much joy, but at the end of the day, all the videos you produce are complaining about that thing, do you really like that thing? Or are you just kind of falling into the path of, I'm so protective of this, I have to, it has to be perfect. Another example I'll give you, again, I've been watching a lot of Matt Colville, and he had such a good example of, I guess he's developed video games before. Obviously, I don't have a list of those, but he talks about it on his YouTube channels. I'll take his word for it. He talked about he spent a lot of time with Baldur's Gate 3, the game that came out, in September. He said he loved it. He thought it was one of the best games that he ever played, but some of the design decisions drive him crazy and are bad designs. And he said, I think there's this misconception that if people spend an unlimited amount of money and time, that something will be perfect. And he said that's not how this works. He said if you change something, it may break something else in any game you're designing. So I think what I'd like to tell those people out there that are producing content that's very negative or things that they don't like, or hey, I have a problem with the corporate overlords that run companies. You could talk about that every YouTube video, or you could say, here's what I love about this thing. Here's what I love. Like I just said at the beginning of this, I love the fact that I'm playing in a game right now with a bunch of people and we're all excited. A couple people joined. Everybody was kind of fast friends. At least I got that feeling. We were there in a room for 5 hours together. Everybody was making each other laugh. We're all trying to, play off each other. There was some great role playing that happened, in game, above board talk that was very funny, and we all just had a good time. And I think that was what I love about D&D. Again, with the game that I'm running at home, the Zoom game, to have a new player join and have them be so excited, that's such a good feeling. So I wish more people online talked about the thing that brought them joy as opposed to trying to tear down the thing. I get it. We all love things and don't want them to change or be different or whatever, but it's all right. Like, you can just say, this is what I love. So I think I'm going to try to do that a little bit more. So I don't want to spend the whole video talking about D&D, but the next thing I want to talk about is, again, visual aids. I got this book from the library. It's called Shadow Speaker. It's by Nnedi Okorafor. I hope I'm saying that right. I'm probably screwing that up, but I looked up her Nnedi is her name. And it's like a futuristic sci-fi novel. It takes place in Africa. The lead character is Edie, I think I'm saying her name right. But I'm only a little bit into it. You can see there, I just started reading. I'm like 25, 30 pages in. Love it. It's great. I recommend it. Apparently, it's a duology, so there's another book after this that I'll have to check out. So I'm really into the library lately. I've been going to the library like crazy. Support your local libraries. In fact, I said I didn't want to make this all about D&D, but I'm going to go back to D&D. You can get D&D books from your local library. At least I can. I've heard of some people getting video games from their local library. Check out your local library and support your local library. It's a great way if you want to save money on a hobby you have. They might have the instruction booklets or rule books for a game that you like or something like that. Or you might be able to check out movies there. I know I can't at mine. Like, save some money, Anyway, shout out to local libraries. Nnedi, I'm going to read this, Shadow Speaker. Check it out. It's really good. I got another book to read after this, apparently. It's a duology. So that's something else I love right now. It's really cool. It's just such a different perspective. I love it. It's interesting so far. Apparently she can speak to her past, I believe, or like these ghosts talk to her, if I'm getting it right. I'm only like 30 pages in. But the other thing that brings me joy, generally, I have another visual aid, but I just want to talk about this. I love, and I probably talked about this before, but again, this is my birthday episode, so I'm just going to talk about things that make me happy and I get excited about. I love when companies spend the time to not only, obviously, most video games have some kind of story or lore or kind of hook or something that, unless it's Mario Brothers, that's kind of changed. But like Dark Souls, like all this stuff I've talked about before. But not only do I like the fact that, this stuff is well crafted and interesting, or games that I play, I find it interesting. I like stuff like this. I just want to show you. So this is the Final Fantasy XIV Encyclopedia Eorzea. I hope I'm saying that right. I always screw this up. But this is like pretty much the hardcover and a story Bible of like the first few, things that, well, that's all right. That bookmark, I was breezing through it anyway. It's really, really good art in the thing. The pages are thick. And what I like about this is you can take lore and things and just make them rote. You can read them in game in a menu and it'll say, yes, this was the king of this land and he had heirs and then his heirs went and did this. And that could be interesting in a game. But to produce a volume like that looks, this looks like a book you would read in that era in the game. With the gold script, all this stuff looks like it came out of the game, and it's a resource. They had to spend a lot of money and time, laying this out with these text boxes and these entries and talk to their lore team and talk about how much that, how it had to stick to certain things. There's 3 volumes of this. I have the 3rd one coming right now. I'm reading that one. I have the 2nd one in the wings waiting to go. And what I like so much about it is, again, they thought very long and hard of how do we take this and bring it to people and make it something that'll mean something to the fans. We love this game. They're going to love this game. How can we show them? Let's make it like a book. You would go into a library somewhere in Eorzea. Maybe you would sit at the bar, the Golden Saucer or something there, and you would pull this open and just start reading about the world. In fact, again, I don't want to make this all about D&D, but the player I have now, he wants to know more about the world. And I'm trying to think of a way to creatively give him that information without just dumping lore on him. I did a little bit because he ran into a character that was mistreated by some other, and it was like a bunch of NPCs and one of them was mistreated by some other NPCs. And again, this new player who doesn't have a lot of experience, something clicked in his head and he said, I want to talk to her and find out why these people are treating her like this. And it was a little bit of a lore dump. Again, I want to get more creative with that and figure out a way to engage him in a different way. Maybe giving him a handout. Maybe give him, years ago, I got on Amazon some like old style parchment printer paper. So it looks like parchment. Maybe I could print that stuff out and hand it to him. Say, hey, you're going through a library. This is the stuff you find, He could read it at home and, take notes or something like that. There's got to be a way. But instead of just a lore dump, but like pay off how excited he is and just be good about that. And just know that, again, his excitement breeds excitement. And it's pretty cool. Games are cool, guys. It's all fun. This is going to sound incredibly narcissistic, but happy birthday to me. I hope everybody found this video, on Monday. You're having a good day. I know for anybody else celebrating their birthday on December 4th, happy birthday. Everybody, let's celebrate it together. Anyway, I just wanted to talk about the things that give me joy. Thank you so much for letting me ramble for about 15 minutes. I think that's it this week. I will talk to everybody next week, and goodbye.